You call yourself tired. You call yourself unlucky. You call yourself misunderstood. But I see the truth. You are not a victim. You are undisciplined. And today, I will remove the illusion that protects your weakness. Listen carefully. You don't lack potential. You lack control. You wake up every morning with goals, ambition, plans, and every night, you sleep with excuses. You say you'll start tomorrow. You say you need motivation. You say the timing isn't right. No, the truth is simpler. You are addicted to comfort, and comfort is the slowest form of suicide. You think weakness is loud, obvious, visible. It's not. Weakness is subtle. It's the snooze button. It's the unfinished task. It's the unnecessary scroll. It's the emotional reaction you couldn't control. Small, repeated, invisible, until it becomes your identity. You don't wake up one day weak. You train weakness daily. You train it when you quit early. You train it when you avoid discomfort. You train it when you choose validation over discipline. You think strength is dramatic. It's not. Strength is boring. It's repetition. It's silence. It's doing what you said you would do, even when no one is watching. Right now, your biggest enemy isn't society. It isn't your circumstances. It isn't your past. It's your lack of internal authority. You don't obey yourself. You negotiate with yourself. I'll start tomorrow. I'll do it later. I deserve a break. You are arguing with your own discipline. And discipline is losing. Let me tell you something uncomfortable. If I placed you in pressure right now, real pressure, you would break. Not because you're incapable, but because you've never trained discomfort. You train convenience. You train emotional expression. You train distraction. And then you expect dominance. Domination is not given to the comfortable. It is built in isolation, in silence, in repetition, in control. Look at your reactions. Someone criticizes you, you defend. Someone ignores you, you overthink. Someone succeeds, you compare. You are externally controlled. That means you are predictable. And predictable people are manipulatable. If someone knows your emotional triggers, they control you. If someone knows you crave validation, they can withhold it. If someone knows you fear rejection, they can threaten distance. You think you're free. You are programmable. Until you master yourself. Self-mastery is not motivational quotes. It's emotional regulation. When insulted, remain neutral. When praised, remain grounded. When pressured, remain calm. When tempted, remain disciplined. You don't need to eliminate emotion. You need to dominate it. Right now, your emotions dominate you. Anger makes you loud. Fear makes you hesitate. Desire makes you impulsive. Sadness makes you passive. You are reacting to chemical signals. That is not strength. That is biology. Strength begins when awareness interrupts impulse. When you feel anger rising, pause. When you feel fear, breathe. When you feel laziness, act anyway. The ability to override impulse is the foundation of power. And power is quiet. Have you noticed something? The strongest presence in any room rarely speaks the most. They observe. They measure. They decide carefully. While others rush to express themselves, they calculate. Expression is cheap. Control is rare. You want to become dominant? Then reduce unnecessary speech. Every time you overshare your plans, you weaken your position. Every time you reveal your emotions impulsively, you expose leverage. Every time you seek approval, you lower your value. Scarcity creates power. Speak less, reveal less. Observe more. And while others are busy trying to be seen, you gather information. Information is leverage. Leverage is control. And control is superiority. But before you can control others, you must control your habits. Let me ask you something simple. Do you wake up at the time you decide? Do you train consistently? Do you finish what you start? If the answer is no, then stop fantasizing about dominance. You don't need inspiration. You need structure. Structure eliminates chaos. Chaos feeds weakness. Weakness feeds excuses. Excuses feed mediocrity. And mediocrity becomes your ceiling. You think perfection is impossible. It's not. Perfection is simply the elimination of weakness. You don't become powerful by adding more. You become powerful by removing what weakens you. Remove distraction. Remove laziness. Remove emotional impulsiveness. Remove unnecessary attachments. Every attachment creates vulnerability. If someone can destabilize you emotionally, they hold leverage. If someone's opinion can ruin your day, they hold leverage. If comfort can break your discipline, it holds leverage. Eliminate leverage. Detach from needing approval. Detach from fearing rejection. Detach from craving recognition. When you need nothing, you become untouchable. And untouchable people dominate silently. You admire perfection because it looks effortless. It's not effortless. It's controlled suffering. It's choosing discomfort deliberately. Waking up early when your body resists. Training when your muscles burn. Working when your mind is tired. Studying when you'd rather escape. Discipline is self-imposed pressure. And pressure builds resilience. Resilience builds stability. Stability builds authority. Authority builds influence. And influence builds dominance. You want to feel powerful. That's your mistake. Stop chasing feelings. Chase standards. Feelings fluctuate. Standards remain. Ask yourself every day, what must be done? Not how do I feel. Your feelings are irrelevant. Your actions are everything. Right now, you are too emotionally available, too reactive, too transparent. If someone looks at you closely, they can read you. That is dangerous. Become unreadable, not fake. Controlled, calm expression, measured tone, minimal unnecessary movement. Stillness intimidates chaos. When others panic, you slow down. When others shout, you lower your voice. When others react, you observe. The calmest person in chaos becomes the center of gravity. People orbit stability. Be stable. But understand this clearly. This path is when you reduce emotional expression, people call you cold. When you stop seeking validation, people call you arrogant. When you detach from drama, people call you distant. Let them. Their perception is irrelevant. Your evolution is not for their comfort, it's for your control. You are not here to be liked. You are here to become dangerous. Dangerous does not mean violent. It means capable. Capable of enduring discomfort. Capable of controlling emotion. Capable of strategic thinking. Capable of silence. Silence is your weapon. When you don't react, you frustrate manipulators. When you don't chase, you reverse power. When you don't explain, you create mystery. Mystery creates psychological tension. Tension creates influence. And influence shifts dynamics. You don't need to dominate loudly. You dominate by not being dominated. That is the difference. From today, observe yourself. Notice when you speak unnecessarily. Notice when you defend your ego. Notice when you procrastinate. Notice when you react emotionally. Then reduce it. Small reductions daily. That's how identity changes. You don't transform overnight. You eliminate weakness repeatedly. Every day. Quietly. Relentlessly. You call the perfect human gifted. No. The perfect human is simply disciplined, beyond emotion. Disciplined, beyond comfort. Disciplined beyond distraction. And if you're willing to sacrifice comfort, to sacrifice validation, to sacrifice emotional impulsiveness, then maybe you can evolve. But if you're still waiting for motivation, if you're still negotiating with your weakness, if you're still blaming circumstances, then remain average, because domination requires decision. Right now, decide. Are you going to continue reacting to life, or are you going to control it? This is only the beginning. In the next part, I will dismantle your emotional dependency completely. And if you survive that, I will rebuild you stronger. Are you going to continue reacting to life, or are you going to control it? Most of you didn't answer, because answering means responsibility, and responsibility is heavy. So let's remove something first. The illusion that you are too emotional. You are not too emotional. You are undisciplined with emotion. There's a difference. Emotion is natural. Obedience to emotion is weakness. Right now, your internal system is chaotic. Someone's tone changes. Your mood shifts. Someone's attention fades. Your confidence drops. Someone succeeds. Your self-worth trembles. That means your internal balance is unstable. And unstable structures collapse under pressure. You want to dominate? Then stabilize. Stability begins with detachment, not from people, from dependency. If someone leaves and your entire identity shakes, that means you attached your value to their presence. If someone criticizes and your entire day is ruined, that means your confidence is externally rented. Rented confidence can be taken back at any time. Build owned confidence. Owned confidence comes from standards. If you wake up at the time you set, you win. If you train when tired, you win. If you stay silent when provoked, you win. These small private victories create internal authority. And internal authority creates emotional immunity. Immunity means flattery doesn't inflate you. Insults don't shrink you. Rejection doesn't define you. Approval doesn't addict you. You become neutral. Neutrality is power because neutral people are unreadable. And unreadable people are difficult to control. Right now, you are readable. Your facial expressions shift easily. Your tone exposes irritation. Your posture reveals insecurity. You leak emotion. Control the leak. Slow your breathing when challenged. Lower your voice when attacked. Pause before answering. The pause is everything. Most people are afraid of silence. They rush to fill it. When you allow silence to stretch, you force others to reveal more. They become uncomfortable. They speak more than intended. They explain unnecessarily. They expose themselves. And you observe. Observation is leverage. Leverage is quiet dominance. You don't overpower people. You outlast them mentally. In arguments, don't try to win emotionally. Win structurally. Ask calm questions. Let them talk. Let them exhaust themselves. Stay steady. When they escalate and you remain calm, everyone in the room sees the imbalance. Calmness under pressure signals superiority. This is not about acting cold. It's about controlling energy. Energy is contagious. If you panic, others panic. If you react, others react. If you remain stable, others stabilize around you. Become the center, not by force, by control. Now let's go deeper. Why do you talk so much? Because you want to be understood. Why do you overshare? Because you want connection. Why do you explain repeatedly? Because you fear being misjudged. Fear is the root. Fear of rejection. Fear of invisibility. Fear of insignificance. Remove fear, and unnecessary speech disappears. If you are secure internally, you don't need to explain your depth. If you are confident internally, you don't need to announce your ambition. If you are stable internally, you don't need constant reassurance. Silence becomes comfortable, and comfort with silence is rare. Sit in a room without your phone. No music. No distraction. Just your thoughts. If you feel restless, that means your mind is undisciplined. Train it. Observe thoughts without chasing them. You'll see insecurity, comparison, regret, desire. These are not enemies. They are signals. Signals showing where you are weak. Weakness is not shameful. Ignoring it is. You don't become perfect by pretending to be strong. You become powerful by systematically removing weakness. Remove emotional impulsiveness. Remove reactive behavior. Remove unnecessary attachment. Remove distraction. Every removal strengthens you. Perfection is subtraction, not addition. Now understand this clearly. The world does not reward emotion. It rewards value. Value under pressure. Can you perform when tired? Can you decide when stressed? Can you stay calm when criticized? If not, you are unreliable. And unreliable people are not respected. Respect is not demanded. It is earned through stability, consistency, control. You want dominance? Be consistent in discipline. Be consistent in tone. Be consistent in standards. Inconsistency signals fragility. Fragility invites pressure. Pressure exposes weakness. Train yourself in pressure voluntarily. Cold showers, early mornings, hard training, difficult conversations handled calmly. The more you voluntarily face discomfort, the less life can intimidate you. You fear pressure because you avoid it. Face it repeatedly, and fear fades. Fear fades when familiarity increases. Now let's address another weakness: the need to be liked. You soften your words to avoid conflict. You agree when you disagree. You laugh when you don't find something funny. You dilute yourself for approval. That is subtle self-betrayal. Every time you betray your own standard to maintain comfort, you weaken identity. Identity must be solid, not aggressive, not arrogant. Solid. You can disagree calmly. You can refuse politely. You can walk away silently. Strength does not require noise. Strength requires clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about what you tolerate. Clarity about what you pursue. Most people drift. Drifting creates mediocrity. Direction creates dominance. What is your direction? Not your dream. Your direction. Dreams are emotional. Direction is strategic. Dreams say, I want success. Direction says, I will wake at 5 a.m. I will train. I will study. I will build daily. Direction is measurable. Emotional motivation fades. Structure remains. If you rely on feeling inspired, you will fail. If you rely on structure, you will evolve. The perfect human does not wait to feel ready. He acts because it must be done. Feelings are irrelevant. Standards are permanent. Now listen carefully. When someone tries to provoke you, they are testing emotional access. If you react strongly, you confirm access. If you remain neutral, you deny access. Deny access enough times, and people stop trying to control you emotionally. They realize there is no handle, no weakness to pull, no insecurity to press. That is psychological dominance. Not loud, not aggressive, stable, unshaken. And once you reach that level, something interesting happens. People begin adjusting to you. They lower their tone. They measure their words. They hesitate before disrespecting you. Not because you threaten them, but because your presence signals control. Presence is built in private. You cannot fake calm under real pressure. So train privately. Wake up earlier than necessary. Train harder than required. Study longer than comfortable. When you conquer yourself daily, external pressure becomes manageable. Self-conquest is the highest form of victory. You don't need to defeat others. You need to defeat your lower impulses. Laziness, emotional overreaction, insecurity, distraction. Defeat them repeatedly, and your identity shifts. You no longer chase validation. You no longer seek attention. You no longer explain unnecessarily. You move quietly. You build quietly. You improve quietly. Then one day, people notice. They ask what changed. You won't give them a long explanation, because transformation was internal, and internal change does not need announcement. Now understand something deeper. True dominance is not about controlling others. It is about being uncontrollable. If no one can destabilize you emotionally, if no one can pressure you into rash decisions, if no one can manipulate your need for approval, then you are free. Freedom is power, and power is calm. You don't need to prove it. You embody it. From this moment forward, pause before reacting. Lower your voice instead of raising it. Finish what you start. Wake up when you decide. Detach from validation. Observe more than you speak. Train your body. Structure your mind. Remove excuses. Eliminate emotional dependency. Become stable. Become deliberate. Become unreadable. And when the world tests you, you won't panic. You won't chase. You won't collapse. You will stand there, calm, measured, untouchable. And that is psychological domination. You are beginning to understand something. Control is not loud. It is not visible to the average eye. It is subtle. And the most powerful tool within control is silence. Not empty silence. Not awkward silence. Strategic silence. Most people speak to release tension. They fill gaps, because silence makes them uncomfortable. When the room goes quiet, they rush to talk. They explain more than necessary. They reveal intentions accidentally. They defend themselves before being accused. Silence pressures them, but when you become comfortable with silence, the pressure shifts. You must understand this deeply. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the concentration of power. When you speak less, every word gains weight. When you respond slowly, your decisions appear calculated. When you do not react instantly, people hesitate. Hesitation creates imbalance. Imbalance creates leverage. Let me show you how it works. Someone challenges you publicly. The average person reacts emotionally. They defend loudly. They argue aggressively. They try to win immediately. But you pause. You maintain eye contact. You say very little. You allow the challenger to speak longer than necessary. While they speak, they reveal their insecurity, their need to dominate, their need to be right. The audience sees it. And because you remain calm, the frame shifts in your favor. The calmest person in conflict controls perception. Perception is power. You don't need to defeat someone verbally. You let them defeat themselves through emotional exposure. That is psychological leverage. Leverage does not require force, it requires awareness. Most people are transparent. Their tone changes when nervous. Their speech speeds up when insecure. Their body stiffens when threatened. Observe this. Don't interrupt. Don't rush. Watch. When you watch long enough, patterns appear. You begin to predict reactions. You begin to anticipate behavior. And when you can predict behavior, you can guide it. Guidance is more powerful than confrontation. If you push directly, people resist. If you subtly redirect, they cooperate. Ask questions instead of making statements. Instead of saying, "You're wrong," say, "What makes you think that?" Instead of attacking, say, "Interesting perspective." Neutral language lowers defenses. Lowered defenses reveal more information. Information is leverage. And leverage is control. You see, most people think dominance means overpowering others. No. True dominance is invisibly shaping outcomes. You don't force. You influence. You don't intimidate loudly. You destabilize quietly. But to do that, you must remove your need to be understood. The moment you crave recognition, you lose patience. You rush to express. You rush to prove. You rush to explain your depth. That urgency reveals insecurity. Security is patient. Security is selective. Security speaks only when necessary. From today, speak 30% less. Observe 50% more. Think 100% deeper. You will notice something subtle. People begin filling the silence for you. They begin revealing personal details. They begin explaining their motives. They begin seeking your reaction. When they seek your reaction, they give you value. Your attention becomes currency. do not spend it cheaply. If someone tries to provoke you, do not reward them with emotion. If someone seeks validation desperately, do not rush to supply it. Scarcity increases value. Abundance decreases it. The more accessible you are emotionally, the less weight you carry. The more selective you become, the more psychological presence you develop. Presence is not volume. Presence is gravity. You have felt it before. That person in the room who barely speaks, yet everyone is aware of them. Not because they are loud, because they are composed. Their movements are minimal. Their tone is steady. Their eyes are focused. They do not seek attention. And because they do not seek it, it finds them. This is not performance. It is internal alignment. When your emotions are controlled, your body follows. When your mind is structured, your speech slows. When your identity is stable, your presence solidifies. But remember this carefully. Silence without competence is weakness. You must build capability in parallel. Improve your knowledge. Strengthen your body. Sharpen your decision-making, because silence amplifies whatever you are. If you are insecure, silence exposes it. If you are strong, silence magnifies it. So build strength privately. Train when no one sees. Study when no one expects. Discipline yourself when no one demands it. Private discipline creates public mystery. Mystery creates psychological tension. And tension creates influence. Let's go deeper. Why does silence intimidate people? Because humans are uncomfortable with uncertainty. When they cannot read you, they begin projecting. They assume confidence. They assume intelligence. They assume depth. Projection works in your favor when you remain neutral. If you reveal too much, projection disappears. If you explain constantly, mystery dies. And when mystery dies, leverage fades. So choose carefully what you reveal. Not everyone deserves access to your ambitions. Not everyone deserves access to your vulnerabilities. Selective exposure protects power. That does not mean isolation. It means discernment. Discernment is a sign of intelligence. You must learn to separate who is worth energy and who is not. Energy spent on the wrong people weakens your focus. Focus is limited. Spend it strategically. In conversations, do not aim to dominate. Aim to understand. Understanding gives you advantage. When you know someone's fear, you know their limit. When you know someone's ambition, you know their direction. When you know someone's insecurity, you know their trigger. But you never exploit recklessly. You store information. You wait. Patience is dominance. Impulsiveness is weakness. Now listen carefully. When you enter a room, do not try to impress. Instead, observe the hierarchy. Who talks the most? Who listens? Who leads? Who follows? Every environment has structure. If you observe long enough, you see the invisible lines. Then you move strategically within them. You don't challenge power directly. You position yourself intelligently. You contribute selectively. You speak only when your words improve the atmosphere. Gradually, perception shifts. You become seen as composed, reliable, grounded. Authority is assigned to those who appear stable. Stability is rare. Most people are emotional weather patterns. Be the mountain, unmoved, still, difficult to shake. And here is something even deeper. Silence is not just external, it is internal. Internal silence means reduced mental noise. Most of you are constantly arguing in your own mind. Imaginary conversations, future worries, past regrets. That noise drains clarity. Reduce it. How? By focusing on action. When you act decisively, the mind quiets. When you procrastinate, the mind becomes chaotic. Action creates order. Order creates clarity. Clarity creates calm. Calm creates presence. Presence creates influence. You see the pattern? Everything begins with control. Control of reaction. control of speech, control of thought. When you master those three, you become psychologically difficult to defeat, not because you are aggressive, because you are grounded. The person who cannot be rushed, cannot be pressured. The person who cannot be emotionally accessed, cannot be manipulated. The person who cannot be distracted, cannot be outperformed easily. So train this daily. In every conversation, practice measured speech. In every conflict, practice slowed breathing. In every decision, practice delayed reaction. Small adjustments compound. Over time you will notice something. You are less reactive, less anxious, less desperate, more deliberate, more composed, more stable, and people will feel it. They may not understand it, but they will sense it. And sensing stability makes people adjust their behavior around you. That is leverage, not forced, earned, built through silence, built through discipline, built through self-control. Now prepare yourself. In the final part, we do not just control, we become untouchable, not emotionally, not isolated. Untouchable. Internally sovereign. Externally dominant. Let me make something clear. Domination is not about crushing others. It is about becoming so internally complete that nothing external controls you. That is sovereignty, and sovereignty is rare. Most people are owned by validation, owned by fear, owned by approval, owned by rejection, owned by pleasure, owned by comfort. They believe they are free, but they react to everything. And if something can control your reaction, it owns you. You want to become untouchable? Then remove ownership. Start with approval. The average person performs constantly. They adjust their personality depending on who is watching. They soften their opinions to avoid conflict. They exaggerate achievements to gain admiration. They laugh louder around powerful people. They shrink around dominant personalities. Why? Because they are negotiating value. You will not negotiate. Your value does not fluctuate with the room. When you stop seeking approval, something shifts. Your speech becomes stable. Your posture becomes natural. Your energy becomes grounded. People sense congruence. Congruence builds authority. Authority builds influence. But approval is only the first chain. The deeper chain is fear. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of being judged. Fear of failing publicly. Fear of losing status. Fear of being alone. Fear creates hesitation. Hesitation creates weakness. Weakness creates vulnerability. And vulnerability invites manipulation. Understand this clearly. Fear is natural, but submission to fear is optional. When you feel fear, do not run. Observe it. Ask yourself one question. What exactly is the worst outcome? Most fears dissolve under examination. Rejection, temporary discomfort. Failure, data for correction. Embarrassment, momentary. Loss of status, rebuildable. The mind exaggerates consequences. Clarity minimizes them. You must train yourself to move, despite discomfort. Discomfort is a signal of growth. Comfort is a signal of stagnation. Most choose comfort. You will not. You will choose growth, even when it isolates you. Isolation is misunderstood. Isolation is not loneliness. Isolation is refinement. When you withdraw from noise, you sharpen identity. When you reduce external voices, you hear your own. Most people are confused because they absorb too many opinions, too many expectations, too many comparisons. Step back. Limit exposure, not permanently, strategically. Use solitude to strengthen your core. Build skills. Build discipline. Build resilience. Because when you return to the world, you return upgraded. Now let's talk about something critical. Emotional neutrality. People mistake neutrality for coldness. It is not coldness. It is calibration. You feel emotions, but you decide when to express them. You are not explosive. You are controlled. Imagine this. Someone insults you publicly. The old version reacts instantly. Anger, defensiveness, raised voice. The upgraded version analyzes. Is this insult strategic? Is it insecurity? Is it provocation? Is response necessary? Sometimes silence wins. Sometimes humor disarms. Sometimes a single calm sentence dismantles. Reaction is weakness. Response is power. Train the gap between stimulus and action. Extend it. In that gap lies dominance. Now we move deeper. To become untouchable, you must detach from outcomes. Most people collapse because they are attached to specific results. If they win, they feel powerful. If they lose, they feel worthless. This is unstable. Instead, attach to process. If you execute correctly, the result is secondary. When your identity is tied to effort, not outcome, loss cannot break you. It only redirects you. This makes you dangerous, because you are not easily discouraged. You adapt. Adaptability is superior to aggression. Rigid individuals break. Adaptive individuals evolve. And evolution wins long term. Now consider this carefully. You do not need to dominate every room. You only need to control yourself in every room. When you master internal control, external control becomes optional. Some environments require silence. Some require calculated speech. Some require subtle leadership. Some require strategic invisibility. Yes, invisibility. Not every battle deserves your energy. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. Strategic absence increases impact. When you are always present, your presence loses value. When you appear selectively, you create anticipation. Anticipation increases influence. Scarcity increases psychological weight. But remember, all of this collapses without competence. You cannot fake dominance long term. Eventually, reality exposes you. So build capability relentlessly. Train your body. Strength commands subconscious respect. Sharpen your mind. Knowledge builds confidence. Improve communication. Clarity reduces misunderstanding. Develop emotional control. Stability builds trust. Power without discipline becomes chaos. Discipline without purpose becomes emptiness. Balance both. Now I will tell you the final truth. The perfect human does not exist. Perfection is not flawlessness. Perfection is control over flaws. You will feel doubt. Control it. You will feel anger. Direct it. You will feel fear. Move through it. You will feel desire. Regulate it. Mastery is not absence. It is governance. Govern yourself before attempting to influence others. Because once you govern yourself, no one can truly destabilize you. They may attempt to provoke. You will remain steady. They may attempt to manipulate. You will detect patterns. They may attempt to intimidate. You will analyze calmly. They may attempt to outshine. You will focus on long term. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. When you align thought, emotion, and action, you become internally sovereign. And sovereignty creates presence. People will not always understand you. That is acceptable. People will sometimes misjudge you. That is irrelevant. People may even dislike you. That is their projection. You do not chase perception. You build substance. Substance outlasts opinion. Now look at yourself honestly. Are you reactive? Are you approval driven? Are you distracted easily? Are you emotionally unstable? If yes, good. Awareness is the beginning. Transformation does not require drama. It requires consistency. Small daily adjustments. Controlled speech. Measured reactions. Strategic thinking. Disciplined action. Repeat every day until it becomes default. One day you will enter a room and you will feel different. Not louder, not aggressive, grounded, calm, observant, centered. And others will feel it too. They may not know why, but they will adjust. Because humans instinctively recognize stability, and stability attracts leadership. This is the final evolution. Not loud dominance, not emotional suppression, not artificial confidence, true psychological control, true internal strength, true silent authority. You wanted 1 hour of dark speeches by the perfect human. Understand something. Darkness is not cruelty. Darkness is clarity without illusion, clarity without dependency, clarity without emotional chaos. If you apply this, slowly, consistently, you will not become me. You will become something better. You will become controlled, disciplined, strategic, unshaken, untouchable. And when that happens, you won't need to prove anything. Your presence will speak. Your silence will command. Your decisions will shape outcomes. And you will realize something powerful. The world was never controlling you. You were simply undisciplined. Fix that, and everything changes. Now the question is not whether you understand. The question is whether you will execute, because knowledge without execution is weakness disguised as intelligence. Choose carefully. Silence. Discipline. Control. That is the path. And once you step on it, there is no going back. Most people live as puppets, thinking the world controls them. But the truth is simple. Control begins within. You wake up blaming circumstances, luck, others. Yet the weakness you despise exists only in you. Discipline is not optional. It is survival. Observe your emotions carefully. Anger rises. Desire misleads. Fear paralyzes. But you will not obey them. Acknowledge. Analyze. Act deliberately. Speak less. Reveal less. Watch more. Because silence is the weapon most ignore. While others rush to fill the void with noise, you remain steady, calculating, unreadable. Detach from approval. People will misjudge, reject, doubt, and that is irrelevant. Your standards, your habits, your decisions define you, not their perception. Every reaction you control, every impulse you delay, compound. Weakness is habitual, trained daily through procrastination, overreaction, and dependency. Replace it with discipline, repetition, structure. Discipline builds consistency. Consistency builds authority. Authority creates influence. Influence leads to dominance. You are not here to impress, to explain, or to justify. You are here to master yourself. Master your thoughts, your habits, your emotional landscape, and the world bends quietly around you without force. One day, without announcement, without effort, presence alone will command respect. You will not need validation. You will not need applause. You will not be swayed by chaos, because you will be untouchable. True power is invisible, calm, deliberate, strategic. It does not shout, it does not threaten. It simply exists, and its existence reshapes everything around it. You will learn that control is not earned through luck, emotion, or reaction. It is seized through observation, patience, and relentless self-mastery. Once you accept this truth, nothing external can dominate you. Nothing internal can distract you. And you will never be the same again. Every reaction, every hesitation, every moment you feel small is a choice you have unconsciously made. Discipline is not optional. It is the only way to survive in a world designed to reward the patient, the controlled, the strategic. Observe yourself carefully. Notice the impulse to speak, the urge to justify, the craving for approval. Those impulses are chains. They dictate your movements, reveal your weaknesses, make you predictable. And predictable people are manipulatable, exploitable, replaceable. You will not be predictable. You will not be readable. You will learn to pause before reacting, to delay gratification, to measure every word and every expression. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is leverage. While others speak to fill gaps, you remain still, calculating. Every second they rush, every word they spill, every emotional flicker becomes information, and information is control. You detach from validation because people's opinions are unstable, inconsistent, unreliable. Your value is self-contained, defined by your standards, your discipline, your execution, not by applause, approval, or attention. Weakness is habitual. You train it every time you procrastinate, every time you overreact, every time you chase temporary comfort. Replace weakness with repetition, repetition with structure, structure with consistency, consistency with authority. Authority is influence. Influence is presence. Presence is domination. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be understood. You are here to master yourself. Wake when you decide. Train when tired. Act when convenient feels impossible. Remain calm when provoked. And the world begins to bend around your presence without force, without announcement, without display. Every decision, every pause, every deliberate action compounds over time. You will notice that people react differently to you. They hesitate. They measure their words. They over-explain because they sense stability they cannot replicate. Stability is rare. You will make it your identity. Emotional neutrality is not coldness. It is calibration. You feel everything, yet you obey nothing. You analyze insult before responding. Observe pressure before yielding. Evaluate temptation before surrendering. Each moment of delayed reaction expands your dominance. Internal chaos is replaced with structure. Internal instability is replaced with sovereignty. You will stop chasing recognition. Stop explaining yourself. Stop reacting unconsciously. Your energy becomes scarce, deliberate, calculated. Scarcity creates value. Predictability invites manipulation. You become unpredictable, unreadable, untouchable. True power is invisible. It does not shout. It does not demand. It does not overreact. It simply exists, and its existence commands attention, respect, and compliance without effort. You will understand that the world never controlled you. You controlled nothing, because you surrendered to impulse, to approval, to distraction. Start reclaiming control today. Control your habits, your thoughts, your emotions. Observe more, speak less, act deliberately. Let discomfort be your ally, solitude your training ground, and repetition your weapon. Master yourself privately, and the world will recognize it publicly. One day, without announcement, without need, without striving for attention, people will notice. They will sense stability, patience, precision. They will sense that you cannot be manipulated, that you are untouchable, that nothing external can destabilize you. And in that moment you will realize, dominance was never about controlling others. It was always about controlling yourself. Silence, patience, observation, discipline, emotional sovereignty. These are the tools of true power. Apply them daily. Build them relentlessly. Every small victory compounds. Every controlled action strengthens your foundation. Every deliberate pause extends your influence. Every detached choice reinforces your internal authority. You will not be swayed by chaos, distracted by pleasure, or manipulated by emotion. You will move quietly, deliberately, strategically, with purpose. And eventually, without trying, without displaying, without demanding, the world will adjust to you. You will not need validation. You will not need recognition. You will not need approval. You will be untouchable, calm, measured, observant, dominant, internally sovereign. And once you reach this state, the world will reveal its true nature. It never controlled you. You were simply untrained, reactive, predictable. That ends today. Step into control. Step into discipline. Step into dominance. And once you accept that nothing outside you can dictate your value, your focus, your decisions, your reactions, you will never be the same again. Most people live as if life owes them something. They wake up blaming circumstances, luck, other people, even the universe, yet the real problem exists inside. Every hesitation, every reaction, every moment of self-doubt is a choice they unconsciously make. You think anger, fear, failure, or rejection are external forces. They are not. They are mirrors reflecting the weakness you refuse to confront. Discipline is not optional. It is the only way to survive. Observe yourself closely. Notice every impulse to speak, every desire to justify, every craving for attention. Those impulses are chains that dictate your movement, reveal your weaknesses, make you readable. And predictable people are easily manipulated, controlled, replaced. You will not be predictable. You will not be readable. You will learn to pause before reacting, to delay gratification, to measure every word, every expression. Silence is your weapon, not empty silence, strategic silence. While others panic, over-explain, spill their insecurities, you remain still, calculating, unshaken. Every second they rush, every word they reveal, every flicker of emotion becomes information. And information is control. You detach from validation because opinions are unstable, unreliable, irrelevant. Your value is self-contained, defined by your habits, your standards, your execution, not by applause, approval, or attention. Weakness is habitual. You train it every time you procrastinate, overreact, or chase comfort. Replace weakness with repetition, repetition with structure, structure with consistency, consistency with authority. Authority is influence. Influence is presence. Presence is domination. You are not here to impress. You are not here to be liked. You are here to master yourself. Wake when you decide. Train when tired. Work when it feels impossible. Remain calm when provoked. Every decision, every pause, every deliberate action compounds over time. You will notice people react differently to you. They hesitate. They measure their words. They over-explain because they sense stability they cannot replicate. Stability is rare. Make it your identity. Emotional neutrality is not coldness. It is calibration. You feel everything, yet obey nothing. You analyze insult before responding, observe pressure before yielding, evaluate temptation before surrendering. Each delayed reaction expands your dominance. Internal chaos is replaced with structure. Internal instability is replaced with sovereignty. You will stop chasing recognition, stop explaining yourself, stop reacting unconsciously. Your energy becomes scarce, deliberate, calculated. Scarcity creates value. Predictability invites manipulation. You become unpredictable, unreadable, untouchable. True power is invisible. It does not shout. It does not demand. It does not overreact. It simply exists. Its existence commands attention, respect, and compliance without effort. Understand this clearly. The world never controlled you. You controlled nothing because you surrendered to impulse, approval, and distraction. Reclaim control today. Control your habits, your thoughts, your emotions. Observe more. Speak less. Act deliberately. Let discomfort be your ally. Solitude your training ground. Repetition your weapon. Master yourself privately, and the world will recognize it publicly. One day, without announcement, without effort, people will notice. They will sense stability, patience, precision. They will sense that you cannot be manipulated, that you are untouchable, that nothing external can destabilize you. Dominance is not loud. Aggression is not strength. Intimidation is not control. True dominance is invisible. It is calm, measured, deliberate. It is built in silence, forged in consistency, refined in restraint. You will not need validation, recognition, or applause. Your presence will speak. Your decisions will shape outcomes. Your gaze alone will signal authority. Every small victory compounds. Every controlled action strengthens your foundation. Every deliberate pause extends your influence. Every detached choice reinforces internal authority. You will not be swayed by chaos, distracted by pleasure, or manipulated by emotion. You will move quietly, deliberately, strategically, with purpose. Your mind will be sharp, your body disciplined, your reactions measured, your identity untouchable. Observe patterns in people. Understand their weaknesses before they reveal them. Detect lies before they are spoken. Predict intentions before they act. You will move like water, flowing silently, filling gaps, adapting to pressure, undetectable yet inevitable. You will not confront every battle. You will only engage where advantage exists. Some fights are for observation, some for influence, some for silent leverage. Not every person deserves your depth. Not every opportunity deserves your energy. Selective exposure protects your power. Scarcity enhances influence. Presence is multiplied when rare. Detachment is strength. Internal alignment amplifies external dominance. Internal chaos creates external weakness. Internal discipline generates external influence. The perfect human is not flawless. He is sovereign. Mastery is not absence, it is governance. Control yourself first, and external control becomes optional. Every insult, every challenge, every failure is data, not a verdict. You will not react instinctively. You will respond strategically. You will analyze before acting. You will wait when waiting provides leverage. You will act decisively when action maximizes influence. Emotional impulses are observed, not obeyed. Anxiety is acknowledged, not amplified. Fear is examined, not obeyed. Desire is measured, not indulged. Every reaction is a choice. Every moment an opportunity. Every silence a weapon. Build capability relentlessly. Physical strength. Mental acuity. Emotional control. Combine them, and you become untouchable. Presence becomes authority. Silence becomes leverage. Observation becomes insight. Strategy becomes dominance. You will evolve privately, and the world will notice publicly. Not because you advertise it, but because reality cannot ignore it. Internal control creates external inevitability. Discipline compounds, patience accumulates, consistency builds, presence solidifies. You do not need to speak loudly. You do not need to fight openly. You do not need permission. You exist, calibrated, controlled, deliberate. And once you achieve this state, nothing external can dictate your value, focus, decisions, or reactions. You will be untouchable, unreadable, unshakable. Calm, deliberate, silent, dominant. Internal sovereignty is power. True psychological mastery is freedom. And once you accept this, nothing will ever move you the same way again.